All right, what's going on? It's your boy Mel Monkey coming back at you once again. And today we're going to be talking about X-Men, issue 6. Submariner joins the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Let's get into it. The issue starts off with Jean Grey, Marvel Girl. She's cooking dinner for the X-Men. The regular cook, he's off for the night. And, Professor Xavier, he's reading a newspaper, and on the headline is, Submariner, 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 right? I guess he's doing something with the Avengers or whatever. And so he's, topic of discussion for the newspapers. And so Professor X is like, we got to find this guy. He's a mutant, and we need to recruit him to the X-Men before he can join the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. At the same time, Magneto, in his lair, he's like, we need to find this Namor guy, recruit him, so we can finally defeat those pesky X-Men. So Professor Xavier and Magneto, they both like astrally project themselves, mentally, like through the ocean. They're searching for, I guess Atlantis. I guess that's where he lives, but like a underground layer of the Submariner. And Professor X, he senses Magneto's presence down there, so he dips, and Magneto goes on to ultimately find Namor's lair. So Namor, he falls for the bait. He eventually goes to Magneto's secret island, and while he's there, he's taking things in. Magneto's talking to him, and Namor's acting like royalty, like don't speak unless spoken to. I'm the man around here. Let me check out your facilities. And so Magneto, he tries to entice Namor with Scarlet Witch. So Scarlet Witch, she makes a gesture, and it causes like a hex. That's her power, and some electrical wires go haywire, and she electrocutes Namor, and it's pretty funny. And so while all this is going on, the X-Men, they show up. They're taking a boat to Magneto's island, and Magneto destroys the boat. But Angel, he flies in, and Namor, he's got these like little wings on his feet, so he jumps up into the air, and he grabs Angel, and he just tosses him like a piece of trash. Really displaying Namor's strength and his power and his ability to like defeat the X-Men and not need Magneto. So with the X-Men ship sunk, Iceman, he creates this ice road that leads the X-Men, to the island. But of course, Mastermind, he's throwing up hallucinations and images and stuff that the halt the progress of the X-Men. But Professor X is like, no, my X-Men, we must proceed. These are fake images or whatever. So they eventually get to the island and they start throwing down. So it ends up that Quicksilver is sort of like captured by the X-Men, and Magneto sees this as his opportunity to like take out the X-Men with his like magnet beam or whatever. But Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver's sister, she's pleading with Magneto, no, don't do it, don't kill my brother. Because throughout all these issues, there's been some tension there with Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Magneto, and we start to see that coming to a head here. But Namor, he overhears, and he's like, yo, Magneto, who are you to talk to a lady like that? So he goes over there, destroys Magneto's, computer device, and puts an end to that. So anyway, Namor goes on to fight the X-Men, and of course, Professor Xavier, he stops him. He's like, yo, Namor, you're better than this. Knock it out. Magneto, he's in disbelief. So Magneto betrays Namor, and he starts attacking him with like this gravity, this magnet that's just like pulling, Namor down to the ground. And Namor, he's so strong, he just hits his arms against the ground, and he causes like the whole facility to crumble. And so Magneto and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, they get on a Magna rocket and they fly away. And Namor, he just goes back to the sea. For me, this issue didn't really do it for me. I'm not really familiar with Namor, and this is like the first time since I've been reading X-Men that it really felt like crossover heavy. There was multiple editors' notes, like Namor is talking about, oh, he loves Sue Storm, but if you want to see that story, check out Fantastic Four 23. And the last time, Namor, he's hesitant to team up with Magneto because the last time he teamed up with somebody was the Hulk in Avengers issue 3. So it's really starting to like flesh out the Marvel universe, which is a good thing if you were reading all the other books. It actually made me wonder while I was reading this if what would it be like to read like these classic Stan and Jack books, all of them, at once, by publication date, and just really seeing the emergence of like the Marvel universe. But I'm not doing that. I'm just reading X-Men. And while these crossovers didn't hurt the issue, I'm not really feel like I'm missing out on anything. It's just I feel like as they bring more characters over, I'm just being like, I don't know, can we just stick to the X-Men, please? As far as what I really enjoyed about the issue was, Scott Summers, Cyclops, he's really stepping up into like a leadership role. I always kind of knew he was the leader of the X-Men, for the movies, but here I'm seeing it, and if you're reading along, you're seeing it too, and not necessarily real time, but you get what I'm saying. And he's taking those first steps towards that leadership role, and it's pretty fun to read. So, like I said, this issue wasn't my favorite. I'm going to have to go ahead and give it a 3 out of 5. It tells a complete story. If you're a Namor fan, you'll probably like it. This is my first introduction to him. He's basically Marvel Aquaman. Didn't do anything for me. And that's that. Well, what do you know? We're here talking about X-Men issue 7, titled Return of the Blob. And folks, this is a historic issue. But you're going to have to keep watching to find out why. So let's get to it. The issue starts off with the X-Men taking a graduation photo. Then they're sort of celebrating after the photo has been taken. The X-Men have officially graduated at this point. And Professor X announces that he's going away on a trip somewhere, and he's going to appoint a new leader of the X-Men. But we're going to have to read on to find out who it is. The issue cuts away here, and we see Mastermind flirting with Scarlet Witch, trying to recruit her, to him so they could, take out Magneto. And of course, Magneto, he overhears this, and he starts magnetically throwing, like, potted plants and throwing a baby rage fit, saying that, he doesn't expect loyalty from his Brotherhood, but he does expect to rule them by fear. So, get in line. And of course, Magneto announces that he has a new plan to defeat the X-Men, but we're just going to have to keep on reading to find out what that plan is. So it's here that Professor X takes Cyclops over to the Forbidden West Wing, which I had no idea was forbidden. And he shows them his device, the Cerebro device, that detects mutant brain waves, out and about. And because Professor X is leaving and he's going to be unable to detect the mutants himself, he appoints Cyclops as leader, which I hinted to in the other issue where Cyclops was being more leader-like. I was wondering if it was going somewhere. And here we are. Cyclops is officially made the leader, and he's put in charge of Cerebro so he can go to detect new mutants in the vicinity. So everybody goes out to celebrate their graduation, except for Cyclops. He stays in Professor X's office, and he monitors the Cerebro. And Magneto goes to the carnival. I think you can see what's going to happen here. And while he's at the carnival, he of course stumbles upon the Blob. And he says, he figures out that the Blob is a mutant. And he's like, this is the guy I need on the Brotherhood to help me defeat the X-Men. But while he's mentally probing the Blob, he discovers that the Blob has a mental block. If you recall in issue, 3? Professor Xavier, put that mental block on the Blob. And here Magneto discovers it, and he's not too pleased about it. But of course, the Blob doesn't want to join the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. He doesn't respect Magneto. And so Magneto, he can't take that disrespect, so he goes to attack the Blob. And the Blob, just basically, he's not having it. So what happens is Magneto causes some pipes to burst underground, and they whack Blob in the head. And it causes his mental blocks, to dissipate. And he remembers the X-Men, and he remembers that they're his enemies. So he ultimately here joins with the Brotherhood to take on the X-Men. And of course, Magneto, he's cocky. He calls up the X-Men. He's like, yo, X-Men, let's throw down at the warehouse right now. And so, of course, the X-Men, they're out there celebrating at a coffee shop. Bobby Drake is flirting with this waitress named Zelda. Just, the Bobby Drake situation. I don't want to go into it, but it's just another example of Bobby chasing skirts. So anyway, Scott calls the X-Men, and they get in the car, and they go to the X-Mansion to get uniformed up. And Scott is like, yo, Magneto's back. He's got the Blob. We gotta go confront this head on. Let's go, X-Men. How do you think this fight's gonna go? Well, of course, the Blob, he's dominating the X-Men. Magneto is beside himself. He can't believe it. He's finally got that missing piece he was looking for. Until the oldest trick in the book, Beast, throws some mud in the Blob's eye, takes the Blob out. So now that the Blob is, he's not with his unbreakable grip holding the X-Men anymore, so he got hit with that mud. The X-Men sort of hide behind him, and Magneto launches torpedoes towards the X-Men, but they hit the Blob instead. Thus, Magneto betrays the Blob and pisses the Blob off. And so now that it looks like the Blob is going to team up with the X-Men against the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, the Evil Mutants, they flee in their Magna car. And Cyclops, he's about to blast them with his full beam ray. And I think Angel comes in and is like, no, Scarlet Witch is in that car. I sense good in her. She could join us one day. Because there's been a lot of tension between Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, and Magneto. Every issue, there's something going on where either Quicksilver will, stop Scarlet Witch from being hurt, or Scarlet Witch will stop, Quicksilver from being hurt, and they go against Magneto's orders, and Magneto is just putting up with it. But I feel like it's coming to a head here, and they might try to recruit Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to find out. And so to wrap this issue up, Scott, he makes the offer, hey, Blob, you could always join the X-Men. And Blob was like, nah, that's not the life for me. Once a carny, always a carny. I'm going back to the carnival, and I don't want nothing to do with the Brotherhood or the X-Men. So they let him walk off, and the X-Men, they got to take a taxi back to the mansion because their helicopter was destroyed. The end. So as you guys know, if you've been watching the series, my favorite issue of X-Men this far was probably the Blob issue. I don't know, I just like the carnival and everything, and then to see it coming back in this issue, I really enjoyed it. Of course, the Brotherhood, they defeated the carnival because they don't play by the rules. They're the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants for a reason. And so seeing him team up with Magneto, I thought it was going to be like, finally a threat, that's like good. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing the Blob back in action. And of course, he just dominates the X-Men. He dominates the Brotherhood. He just can't be stopped. I wonder what the future holds for the Blob. I don't know why I like him so much, but I just enjoy him when he's on the page. Another thing that I enjoyed about the issue was the rising tension, like I said, between Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. It's all coming to a head here, it seems. And, it's been building issue upon issue since, like, issue 4. But, they're getting more defiant of Magneto. Magneto's losing his grip on them. And I'm eager to see what happens next with that. And the X-Men, they're even hinting at the possibility of recruiting her and her brother. Like I said, this is my first time reading X-Men. I don't know what's going to happen. But I can see that, To me, this issue, it just came together perfectly. It hit all my marks. This is going to be the first ever 5 out of 5 issue that I give X-Men. Hopefully there's plenty more. But it's just, I said, all angles just covered it for me. The Blob, everything. Really great stuff here. And I hope to see more like it. Until next time, I'll see you there.